significant problem. This is a pretty significant problem that somebody needs to tackle. And at the time, I didn't know who that somebody was going to be. I didn't know who was going to tackle this problem. I didn't have any idea who was going to tackle this problem. But I just knew that it existed. I knew that the problem existed, and as I started to look further into it, I'm like, this is a pretty big problem. Somebody needs to tackle it, and then one day, once enough thought process went in, once enough of my brain capacity, went into this problem, I finally discovered, what, that somebody is going to be me. So who's going to be that somebody that tackles the problems that you're thinking about? My problem was maybe having salons and having opportunities created for these professionals that were, or future professionals that were graduating, having a salon or having a person in the field that knew what to do with their talents, that could connect with them, that knew the next steps that they needed, that knew the career pathing that they needed, that knew the training and motivation and inspiration that they needed. That's where I felt I filled that gap, and I continue to fill that gap because it didn't really exist. So I want you to think about the problem that you're thinking about. When are you going to start working on that problem? When are you going to start building on that problem? And that's what, when you take something, like when you look at the Facebook headquarters, you see these posters around there. You see this, let's build. You see this, move fast and build things. You see some of their culture, some of their staples around, and you start to realize, yeah, this is what it's all about. This is what the innovation's all about. So as you guys start to look out at your own brands and your own businesses, I want you to be thinking, what are you going to do differently? What big problems in your industry or in your sector or in your career path or in your city, state, wherever you're at, what are some of the big things that you can tackle? Because a lot of people, they're just sitting around waiting for somebody else to tackle these things. They're like, well, it's not my job to take care of, the 290,000 people that are unemployed right now. Somebody else will take care of that. Somebody else will focus on that. But what are you going to do about it? Maybe that is your job. Maybe that's part of the reason, why you're here. And when you start thinking about problems like that, and you start thinking about what you can do and the kind of impact that you could have, that's when things are created. That's when things start to get built. So I want you guys to be thinking about that. And I mean, this whole experience for me, coming out here to Facebook headquarters, spending, the last, couple of days here, getting to see behind the curtains, inside their culture, work with their small business team, realizing, the passion that everybody here has for what they do, and they understand like how big of an impact a small business can be on a community. And they understand that small business is the backbone of America, and their mission is serious. It's just an eye-opening experience, because a lot of times you might think, well, I'm just a small business. What can I do? How can I make a difference? And when you start to work around, this kind of environment, you start to work with these people in these creative workshops that we're doing today, you realize, wow, you do have a voice, even if you're small. So when you come to Rolling with a D and we're hacking the Bob, hacking the business of beauty, your thinking might need it to shift. Your thinking might need an upgrade. Your thinking might need to kind of be reworked. Your thinking might need to be hacked. Because you could have a serious impact on your community, on your environment. That idea that you've been sitting on, that one good idea that you've been holding off, and you don't want to tell anybody about it because you don't want anybody to take your idea. And listen, no one's going to take your stupid, idea. Okay, get over it. And I say that not to downgrade your idea, but just to get you to think outside the box. Share that idea, because that idea becomes better when you start to collaborate and you start to share that, and you get it within somebody else's thinking. And then you take it, when we work today, we work in these small groups because that's where the ideas happen. It's not you holding on to your one lonely idea because you don't want to tell anybody because you think somebody's going to steal it. It's you collaborating, sharing that idea with somebody else so they can enhance it. And so 2015 is coming, guys. 2015 is coming. What are you going to do to enhance your ideas? What risk are you going to take? What positions are you going to put yourself in, which is going to put your company in, which is going to put your friends and family in, your organization, your entire business in? What risk are you going to take? What are you going to do to take your game to the next level? You got to get on that train, and then continue that momentum, because you're going to start to build it now. Everyone's getting excited. It's holiday times. Your business, you might see your sales going up. But what are you going to do to keep that momentum going? What are you going to do to continue to innovate, to continue to move the needle into 2015 and beyond? And that's been a big part of the eye-opener and the experience that I've had out here at Facebook headquarters. It's been, super exciting, super engaging. I cannot wait to, like I said, come back and compile my notes and come up with some of the strategies and share some of the ideas, that I've been able to pick up out here. It's been truly mind-blowing. When I was on the campus today, I saw Mark Zuckerberg and they're having a meeting, totally engaged. This guy, 30 years old, worth over $30 billion, just on the campus, just engaged with a couple of his team members, working on problems. Just because he's who he is doesn't mean he stops working on problems. And so people like you and me, we need to be thinking about that. We need to be thinking about, what problems are we working on? What problems are we trying to solve? What problems are we tackling? What problems are out there that still need attention? And that's what we have to be thinking about, because those are the problems that are worth solving. So when you guys are out there, when you're out there building your business, when you're out there building your brand, when you're out there looking at the landscape, when you're out there looking at, some of the ideas that you have, know that those ideas become more powerful when you get them around other like-minded people, and you let that collaborative brain capacity, that collaborative thinking, that workflow occur. And that's when breakthroughs happen. So I want you guys to go out there. I want you to make that happen for yourself. I want you to make that happen for your business. I want you to make that happen for your family. And above all, I want you to make that happen for the world, because you owe it to the world. You owe it to the world. If you're tuning into a show like this, if you're watching Rolling with the D, you've got the right stuff. And I want to see you go out there, and I want you to use that stuff. And I want